And when we come together as a trade union, our job at the end of the day is to represent the work people. That's when someone goes to work, they go home in one place, uninjured, unarmed, and go back to their families. Second, get the best possible pay and conditions for them, the best leisure facilities, but when they retire as well, dignity and respect in old age. Of course, all these things are hard to achieve when you've got an employer, and the employer's about one thing and one thing only, in this country and around the world, is making a profit. They see it pretty simple. If they can keep our wages and conditions down, their profits go up. And if we can push our wages up, their profits go down. So it's simple. Whoever's top dog at the workplace will be the successful one. Either we're better organised than the bosses, or the bosses are better organised than us. Then all of a sudden they can find money, just like the Cabaret Act, can pull a rabbit out of a hat, they can find billions upon billions of pounds to find weapons of mass destruction. Well, let's go for a war against poverty. Let's go for a war against illiteracy. Let's go for a war out there to give working people all the things that they benefit throughout the world. We're faced as a trade union with a massive uphill battle. But I can assure you people here today that the problems ain't going to go away. You know, some people might say, well, I fancy putting the duvet over my head tonight and the problems might go away tomorrow. Or we're going to wait for someone to come along to bring in legislation for me or legislation for someone else. It ain't going to happen unless you make that history here today and every other day that you're organising this trade union. We make the history for years to come. We've got more in common with a Chinese labourer than we have with a Wall Street stockbroker, because our problems are their problems. Tell me that people ain't got the right to withdraw their labour. Of course they should be entitled to withdraw their labour. When they shut a factory down, or they shut a terminus down, they don't bat at the workforce and say, should we shut this factory down or not? They shut it down. So why can't workers secure their own employment by taking industrial action? Why is it that workers in New York ain't allowed to be given a contract and they're told that both their arms are tied behind their back so they can't fight back? New York workers should be allowed to have the right to strike, and if they had the right to strike, they'll have a contract now which they could be proud of. I'll make it quite clear. I operate on the basis of militant trade unions at the workplace. I can't give two monkeys about any boss's agenda. The only agenda that I want to run forward is for working people, and I salute the Transport Workers Union of America.